Yes, Helen. Welcome
Hi.
to the new space, Podmatic. Thank you so much for joining us in the space. I know the talk is impromptu because I thought that's the best way for us to be able to do it, to discuss some of the services that I offer myself, as well as the beautiful space here that we now call our home, because
Absolutely.
I know for a fact that this was a match made in heaven because it complements so much of what I do. It complements so much of what I've put together as well. So I will be most interested to hear from yourself, obviously to find out a little bit about what we do and that kind of thing, and to also hear about what you do. So yes.
Well, firstly, welcome to the Junction.
Thank you so much. I've been loving it here, by the way. I've been here quite a while, and so yeah, it's a beautiful space. Most people that I've brought here, they've just commented on how gorgeous it is, you know.
Well, thank you very much.
And that sort of thing.
Yeah, we like it.
Aesthetically. However, just like this studio that I have, it's very functional.
Yeah, it's functional.
You know?
But, you know, like to start with, it's great to have you here.
Thank you.
Right? You are a really big techie side of the business, which is, you know, really good for lots of our clients who are already in the Junction. Junction family that we call ourselves.
Of course.
But, you know, it's great to have something so out there, you know, like a podcasting suite. This is amazing. Nice. This whole setup that you've put in here is just bonkers. Beyond belief.
Right? You remember, and it's interesting today, by the way, guys, if you're hearing a bit of noise, my daughter is here, you know, she's doing her thing. The first time I came here, I came with my son.
You did.
And it was a grey room.
Yes, it was.
I don't know what your experience was. I'll speak a little bit about mine, but with the first time that you met me, you know, you just showed me you were so generous, by the way, and so kind. I was thinking, oh yeah, this is probably a worker, you know, she probably will be getting a bonus. You're just showing me with such heart and so hands-on. And I was saying that's partly what sold me to come here, to find out that you're actually the director and the owner. I was like, wow, I could learn something, you know, from that as a business owner.
Well, your energy when you're on the phone speaking to me about, you know, what you wanted, what you were looking for.
Yeah.
I was just wanting to show you the space, really, because I thought that, you know, we could match. You know, we were a good match to start with, even just on the phone. When you said what you did, I thought, oh, I like a bit of that.
Right.
So just, and then showing you around, and then showing you all of the spaces that had all the big windows, and look at all this natural light. You know, not thinking that that's not a good thing for you.
For a studio.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden, the light bulb moment when we had the room with no windows.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean,
wait a minute.
That's a match made in heaven.
Your face was just, oh, wait a minute. You know what? There's another room that I can show you. I was like, really? It has no windows? Really?
Yeah.
Go on, let's go show me. And I would tell you, like, from when I just stepped into the room.
Yeah. You were totally
I fell in love right there and then. And then by the time I was going home, everything in me was just like, because I'm a praying man, you know, I'm praying like, Lord, just make sure that I
actually, I can't actually believe what you've done with this room. It looks insane.
Right?
It does. I mean, like completely nothing like the good thing about the Junction is that, you know, a grey door, everybody's got a grey door. We don't put signs on the doors because you know, you don't know how big the company is inside or who it is, whether they're corporate, whether they're a small one-man band, or whether they're a massive business. And that's always been the thing, because we treat everybody the same, and it doesn't matter how big the business is. So it doesn't matter what the space is behind the door. And we really encourage people to, like, you know, put their own colours in
and own.
You know, and make it their own.
Yeah, you really did say
Absolutely.
that, you know. And sorry, not to interrupt you, but you really did say that to me. You're like, oh, you can make it your own, you know, painted and customize it.
Yeah, well, we encourage that. We've got all sorts of different shapes and sizes, and everybody likes their own look.
I was like, are you sure?
Yeah.
So if you noticed, every step of the way I was coming to ask, I'm looking to do this. Is it okay? You're like, yep, for as long as you put it back how you find it,
absolutely.
it's okay. And I think that really helped me to rethink this whole space, the accommodation that you gave me, because I feel like if I was kind of like jittery about it, then I would have been like, can I put these panels? Can I put this ceiling railing, which is a godsend?
It looks amazing in here.
It really does such a great job, you know, the railing, because the lights can move anywhere in the room. Yeah. And I was saying to somebody that came here before, that this whole, I think it doesn't even do it justice to call it a room anymore. This whole studio space.
Oh, yeah, definitely a studio now.
Is a set.
Yeah.
Every bit of this space can be filmed on, whether it's that can be used as a backdrop, that can be used as every single set. And it's also thanks to the fact that the lights can move anywhere in the room and that kind of thing.
And what we were saying before, I'm just going to stop you there because I want to plug this bit. So we are sitting on this amazing little
leather sofas.
2-man having a great chat, conversation type thing.
Dialogue, one-on-one dialogue.
Because we're interviewing each other and we're just going to have a nice chat about everything.
Yeah.
But there's also another space which we're going to hopefully show you in this same podcast.
Yeah.
Which is a bit more informal. You can have 4 people, and that's
Sit
kind of
down.
like a chit chat place.
Absolutely.
And that's where you delve in deep, and you get all the, I kind of quite excited about getting people to sit in there and show that how that happens.
How it will work, And the beauty of that, I call it the executive, because it can sit up to 6 people.
Yeah.
So the mics are set up. The sofa is like, it's got a life of its own, because once you're sat there, it's so comfortable, right?
Yes.
To start with, when I've used it before,
Yes.
the guests that I've sat there, they say it's comfortable. And then there's an option where you can put your own logo, so to customize it. But everything is literally set out where you just come, you sit down, you have your conversation. It looks amazing. It will present amazingly, but then I get to do the work.
Thing. You get to do your thing.
It's a conveyor belt here.
Yes.
Just to plug it a little bit more, to say what we do at Podmatic. What differentiates me from other people? There are other people that offer the services that I offer.
Yeah.
Right? They do podcast recording. They do video podcast recording.
What makes you you?
The thing that makes you me unique is, instead of calling myself a podcast studio, I'm a podcast agency. The reason I'm a podcast agency is because, as I said, I do end to end. So I'm involved in the entire process in terms of helping my clients with whatever products they're looking for. Not only that, it's referring them and pointing them in the right direction of what they can get to ensure that they're successful in their content creation. However, not only that, when we're in studio, the very first part of what we do as the process is what I call a consultation, right? So, and I do that. I don't charge any extra. It's free, but it's a very important component, because in that consultation, that's when I can help you determine which part of the studio will be most suitable for what product you're looking to present.
Yes.
So, for example,
and what you want to get out of your podcast,
what you want to
put across.
Yes.
Yeah.
For example, here where we're sat, this set is really good for dialogue, because as you will notice when I cut up the edits, it really presents fully the person, and then obviously you will see us in the the main shot, but the whole thing is to get that dialogue going, the science of I'm looking you in the eye. That is very important when you're having one-to-one dialogue.
Yes.
As you've stated with the other set, where if you're sat with a group of people, it's really made for a group of people. It's like you're sat in a living room, right? You want to be comfortable, there's a table, and that kind of thing. You've got your drinks, and you're just having a chat. But we also have what I call the Pod Pro, which is normally hosted here as well. That's just like some radio style podcast microphones, usually with some headphones. So if you've got some friends and you just want to sit down, casual, chop it up and just have a podcast style conversation with each other, you can also do that on this very set as well. But that's also designed more for like a radio style, really podcasty feel to it. So when you're having that chat as well, it's kind of informal, but it just gets you going in a way where you're having, some of the podcasts that I've seen where people are casual. Not only that, we do solo sets. So for example, I've done some clips which are like frequently asked questions. So this set can be set up for that. We can do corporate videos, promotional videos. We can do tutorials. We do lives. In fact, I won't go into all the prices. I may just put it, because I'll be going here for days. But people can actually record their content live in here as well.
Yes.
Thanks to you, Helen, and the beautiful plugs that you've got for internet. So they can actually do live recording in that. Let's say, for example, you want to broadcast to your corporate individuals, or you just want to put out a live broadcast as opposed to putting it later. You can actually do that. Or you can have, as I said, a radio style show. So you have a call-in. You have people calling you in and things like that.
Oh, wow.
Have your YouTube. Yeah. So if you do those, sometimes they do like donations and money and things like you're trying to, build up your tribe and you can monetize in this space. So that's something we accommodate. I was even forgetting, speaking about the stuff about the podcasting or voiceover.
Yes, your little booth.
Voiceover.
That's a cool little booth.
The voiceover, the booth is cool, but the work that will be done in there as well is so much that can be done. You know, if you're trying to do an audio book on a budget, I know that can be really expensive. So if you've got your own self-published book, come and see us. We can work something out with yourself, or people that do animation, you know, people that do orators, narrators.
So you have a little screen in there, so you can see the screen.
Yes. So there's something that I've got in very recently. It's a teleprompter, actually. So the teleprompter will also be for people that just want to have a more professional reminder. And then when I do the solo videos, I realized when I was with the client, that would have helped to have a teleprompter. So I got one. So that will aid as well. But when it comes to the voiceover, I think I just realized it will also be useful because it just goes. So the person, all they have to do is just read what's on their screen. So it will be just going, which means it actually makes your job 10 times easier. When you come in here, you put on the hardware is already set.
Yes.
You sit down. If you've got your teleprompter in there in front of you, you've inputted the data that you need to. All you have to do is to make sure you're on cue, you're reading, you'll be out of here within an hour having done quite a bit of work.
Okay, so let's talk about, from start to finish, what makes you different, because that was a lot. Right. What makes you different to all the other guys out there is that when your client leaves, they will then get sent.
They will.
A finished product.
A finished product.
So you can come in the hour, you have your consultation, you have your hour of recording, and then when you leave, after you go, bang, on email. Is it email? How does it turn up?
The transportation is cloud. And sometimes on email. It just depends on how big the file is.
So like a WeTransfer file or something like that.
Yes, can do WeTransfer or can do drives as well. So clients are free to bring their own drive. Yeah. And I can have them, I can have it to them on a drive.
Oh, so they can go in the coffee shop, have a cup of coffee.
And then come
have
back
some lunch. Come back.
It'll be ready.
Plug the coffee shop.
Have some lunch. The coffee shop, I've heard the cakes.
Have some lunch and just like come back and it's done.
I've heard the cakes are beautiful.
Oh, Scott's makes the cakes.
I need to try some of the cakes. I was going to say it depends on the size of the file as well, because my highest quality is 4K. So this will be put out in 4K. Yes. But I can actually do lower
res.
Yes, well, just because some people prefer that for transportation. They find it easier to be able to use. Like
because if you wanted to send a podcast to somebody to your advert, then if you have to WeTransfer it, it's quite a labor intensive thing.
It is
downloading, etc. Whereas if you can just send a little blob on an email,
they can have it. However, the beauty is the option is there. So even if because for me quality is everything, right?
Of course.
As you've stated, I gave you, part of what I do, what sets me apart once again, is I'm very meticulous in what I do. I have to make sure I check things to make sure that things are likely to look how I want them to look before I'm looking at the product.
So you give the best quality, but then you can downgrade the quality so that you can send it on email if you want to.
Most certainly. I can downgrade it for the sake of the file, the size of the file.
Yeah.
So I was going to say as well today, so I made you listen to the audio a little bit just to see what what did you think
Oh my gosh. Right, let me just explain what that is, okay? So for somebody that's never been in a situation like this before, just putting the headphones on and hearing your own voice in like a vacuum, it sounds like you're in a vacuum.
It's just pure voice.
Just pure voice, pure nothing, no sound anywhere else.
Right.
That's quite insane.
Right.
It feels like you're in a recording studio, which is obviously what we are in.
Studio.
Yeah, but no, really good. It feels really professional. Brilliant. It feels like you're in the zone, which is brill. Because you need to switch yourself on, don't you, to be in the zone. I've never spoken like this into a microphone and stuff like that before. Yeah. So for me, it's a bit unusual and it's a bit, get your head around that.
You're okay.
But fortunately for me, I'm interviewing somebody like you.
Yeah.
Who
does it for a living?
Yeah, who does it for a living? Very free flowing.
Yeah.
And so that makes me a little bit less nervous.
Absolutely. And that's another bit, like I was saying, the client that I had before, we realized there were certain components where I had to get involved hands-on with the questions, guiding them, but also even talking them
I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah, so I do that as well, because you'll find that most studios, when they say they'll give you an engineer, it's only for technical aspects. So they will do what you go there to do.
You're like a hand holder.
I'm a hand holder in a way, and that's why it's like an agent, because part of it, I don't deliver you just the product. I hope, or I look to deliver you the result as well in terms of
you're like
we're
a
going
complete
to produce.
bespoke service.
Bespoke, yeah.
That's you.
Speaking
so
of-
you take them from the beginning. What do you
Yes.
want? What do you want
Which
to get
way do
out
you
of
want
it?
to go, the
Let
direction?
me work it out for you because
Yes.
I'm the expert.
Yes.
That's what you say.
Absolutely.
And then you work it out. You sit down, they sit down, have a cup of coffee while you're tweaking, getting everything absolutely perfect.
Yeah.
And then I guess you've got your teleprompter, or you can make sure that the right questions are asked.
Yes.
So they can get the correct answers out.
Yes. In
because
fact,
that's what people want to hear, isn't it?
With that one, that's why the consultation is so important, because when we come, I figure out what they're trying to do. I let them know what can be done, and I send them away with a bit of homework, with a bit of things to do before
so the
they come here.
consultancy isn't necessarily
no,
at
it's
the same time.
day. No,
Right,
it's
okay.
the initial thing so that they can gather their
Good,
things.
this is good.
Because the whole thing is, I don't want people to come in there and I'm wasting their time.
No. And then they walk out going, oh, God, if I'd known, I would have done this, done it. Yeah.
Because I know there were driving instructors, not naming anyone, where you'd spend a whole lesson, you haven't learnt anything. So I'm thinking, I get paid regardless. But my thing is, I don't want to just take people's money for no reason. So the stuff that you can do away from here, do that. So when we come in here, we press record.
You're getting a bang for your buck.
Yes. Hence why I've introduced the teleprompter. Hence that screen, you ask me what's that for.
Yes.
Is so that you've seen all these little things and we're not spending time here faffing around. It's just that
we
today...
don't like faffing.
No. As